I always feel inclined to give you a weather update at the beginning of these videos, but I'm just doing it anyway as though we're neighbors. But yeah, it's been raining here for a couple of days, and the forecast says it's going to rain for at least another week, which kind of puts a damper on things that I wanted to get done this long weekend, mostly staining the back deck and filling up the big new planter that we got with my tomato seedlings, and also a friend of mine who has a huge, beautiful flower garden and vegetable garden, but she sells cut flowers and has just started selling seedlings, which is very exciting. And she brought over for me some calendula and some marigolds, and what else did she bring? I forget what they're called, starlight or something. These really cute little orangey, red, yellow flowers that and zinnias, which I'm really excited to plant with the tomatoes to make it colorful and attract pollinators, but also repel unwanted bugs. So yeah, I'm a bit bummed out that I can't get on that, because I can't really fill up the planter until the deck is done, because the planter will be too heavy for me to move once it's full. So that's that update for you. I'm going to show you how to prepare artichokes in 3 different ways, but before I do, I wanted to share with you a few tips for coping with allergy season. And actually, I guess this rain is a little bit helpful for that, because it's not as dry, so there's not as many pollens and particles floating around when it's raining. For silver lining on these literal clouds that we have. There's a cat behind me trying to get out of the house. I can hear her with the doorknob. If you're somebody who enjoys hanging your laundry to dry outside, which I definitely am one of those people, I recommend that you don't. It's so beautiful. I know. I love doing it. It feels like one of those symbols that, like, deep spring is definitely here, when it's actually hot and sunny enough outside to hang your laundry out on the line to dry. The thing is that it is an excellent opportunity for pollens to attract themselves to your nice damp clothing and just kind of get stuck there. And then when you wear them, you already have pollens on you before you even walk out the door. So yeah, if you want to hang your laundry up, it might be better to hang it up in the house. I know it's not as fresh and romantic even, and takes up a lot of room, but if you're really, really sensitive to the pollens in the air, I would strongly recommend that you avoid hanging your laundry out, at least when the allergy, what's it called? Well, when the pollen is high. You know, in your weather app. Wow, I'm just blanking out. That's completely. But when the pollen allergens, when the allergens are high, the environmental allergens are high. Yeah, I don't know. I tried. Another really helpful thing that you can do is to shower and rinse your hair. Don't necessarily wash your hair every day, but if you've been out and about, then at the end of the evening, before you settle in and get cozy on your couch or get your pajamas on or get into bed, it's a good idea to rinse your hair out of any of the particles that might have attached themselves to your hair and are lingering, because you really don't want to go sleep in that. That's not going to be helpful at all. I also recommend using a nasal bulb or syringe or neti pot to rinse out any of the pollens or particles that you are breathing in through your nose that just are lingering there. Just be really, really mindful to carefully follow the instructions, because you can definitely do it the wrong way. So you definitely want to use well filtered or previously boiled and distilled water to avoid any bacteria entering or other pathogens that you don't need in your sinuses, and also just to be doing it in the right position to avoid discomfort and complications. So definitely follow the instructions, but that can be a really helpful tool as well. There are also tinctures that you can buy in health food stores that are helpful for sinus inflammation and allergies. There's homeopathic remedies and stuff like that. But these three things are basically free, and they're just kind of lifestyle habits that you can add to your day-to-day routines that will definitely make a big difference. And you don't have to spend any money or take more antihistamines or potions or remedies or things like that. You can definitely do those things if you need to, but I'm just saying these are three things that you can do that will cut back a lot. Oh, did I mention also that it can be really, really helpful to get an air purifier with a HEPA filter, because some of them can filter out they claim at least that they filter out like 99% of particles in the air that can cause allergic reactions. And I do find it really, really helpful when it gets very dusty in the house, or even if the cats are shedding a lot. I definitely notice a difference when we're running the air purifier. So that's also a really helpful tool for that. If any of you have any tips or tricks for dealing with seasonal allergies, please leave them in the comments below. I'm sure your fellow viewers, the others in the Sweet Vegan Living community, would love all the help that they can get. And I'm always curious to know what you are all experimenting with. So please leave that in the comments, and let's make some artichokes. The first way that I prepared artichokes for this week was to take whole fresh artichokes, trim off a good part of the stem, as well as about an inch maybe of the top of the artichoke. And then I just started peeling back all the hard outer leaves, pretty much all the green leaves and some of the yellow leaves, until I got down to the softer, more tender kind of yellow leaves on the inside. And while I was doing this, I tried to rub the ends and the outer part of the artichoke with lemon juice as often as possible to slow down the browning process. And then for the same reason, I also put the artichokes in lemon water while they were waiting to be cut. After cutting the artichoke hearts in half, I scraped out all the fuzzy bits from the inside of it. I blanched them until they became tender, so about 20 minutes in salted water. And then I sauteed them quickly in some olive oil and minced garlic. And I put those aside to use for a pizza later that night. I usually use marinated artichokes on pizza, but I thought it would be fun to try fresh artichokes, and it was really, really tasty. Probably the most common way of preparing an artichoke would be to snap off the tough outer leaves and then cut about a quarter or a third of the tip of the artichoke off. Then you snip off all the remaining sharp or spiky tips of the leaves that are still on it. And also cut off the stems so that the artichoke can sit properly without tipping over. You can rub the cut surfaces of your artichoke with lemon again, like I did in the other recipe, to prevent it from browning as quickly. You'll put a steamer basket in a large pot and then add just enough water that the water comes just below the basket, and squeeze some lemon juice into the water and a really generous pinch of salt, and then bring that water to a boil. Then you'll place the artichokes into this steamer basket with the stem side up. You cover the pot and steam it until the heart is nice and tender when pierced with a knife, and the leaves pull off really easily. Usually for an average size artichoke, that's going to take you about 25 to 35 minutes. If you start to run out of water, you can add some more. I like to keep the kettle nearby in case I need to add water, because then the water I'm adding is already hot enough to keep boiling. Serve your artichokes warm or at room temperature with some plant-based hollandaise or melted plant-based butter. Personally, I like to warm some olive oil with some minced or crushed garlic in it. And then when the garlic just starts to soften and become fragrant, I use that to dip the artichoke leaves in. And you're just going to eat the little soft, tender part at the bum of the leaf, let's call it. If you're thinking that is way too time consuming or just too laborious or just not even fun, I totally get it. I love cooking and I love these long drawn out processes, but even I sometimes get very over ambitious and I'll start into a task like that and then I'm like, what was I thinking? I've even been known to abandon projects partway through because I'm like, this is going to take me about 5 hours longer than I thought it was going to. So for those artichokes, we use them for pizza and they were delicious. But for the dish that I'm going to make now, I'm using frozen artichoke hearts that I bought already prepared. So they're so convenient and so lovely because they're all ready for you to start cooking with. You don't have to do any plucking and cutting and scraping and preparing. They're just here. They're adorable, they're ready to go, and that's what we're going to use for this. My third recipe is a stuffed artichoke, and one of the ingredients was a parmesan cheese. So I made a vegan parmesan that I found the recipe for at It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken, and I will put the link in the description below. But basically it calls for potato starch, plant-based milk, some green olives, some coconut oil, nutritional yeast, and some white miso, as well as some lemon juice. And you just blend all of those ingredients up together and you pour it into an oven-safe dish that you have greased. Then you cover your dish with some aluminum foil, unless it has a lid. And this all fits into a steamer basket inside of a pot. So make sure your oven-proof dish will fit into all of this because you also have to cover the pot. So in the pot, you put several inches of water and you bring it to a boil. And then once boiling, you put your dish inside and you cover the pot with the lid and you steam it for 35 to 45 minutes until the parmesan is solid but still feels bouncy. You remove the dish from the steamer and let it cool slightly, and then you put it in the refrigerator overnight. This is the best vegan parmesan recipe I have ever tried. It is so tasty and it is melty and it shreds easily, it crumbles easily, it's just perfect. For the artichokes, I used the frozen bottoms, which I actually blanched in boiling water for a few minutes until they were starting to become tender. And for the filling, I used a bit of plant-based mayonnaise, some pine nuts, that Parmesan cheese, some lemon zest, some lemon juice, fresh basil, and ground pepper. Oiled a baking dish, placed my artichoke bottoms in the baking dish, and filled them. And then I baked these at 375 degrees for about 25 minutes, maybe 30. And that was it. They're really delicious, and I mean, come on, look how cute they are. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you so very, 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 very much, and I thank you. I just thank you. If you are a Patreon subscriber, can't thank you enough, as usual, for believing in the work that I'm doing, for contributing to it, and helping to make this channel possible. So thank you so very much. If you are someone who would like to work one-on-one with me for naturopathy or nutrition, there is a booking link in the description below. I will be back very soon, and in the meantime, take really good care of yourselves.